Here we go then. So today I'm going to be showing off the PainTeX UV Primer through the gun, of course, and the PainTeX Pro-Cure UV torch. And according to the TDS, always check your TDS, it's one light coat, like you see here, and you've got to wait for 30 seconds for it to kind of matte off. But bear in mind, this is December morning. You just see me go into the control box there. It was like 12 degrees in the booth. It was freezing, so it's not really going off that quick. But what you want to do is leave it until it's fully matte and then apply one wet coat. And again, according to the TDS, we recommend a 1.1 to 1.3. I've gone with a 1.3 HVLP because basically everybody's probably got one of those lying around. And you'll see here I'm starting 2 minutes flash. Again, I'm going to skip through these sort of flash off. You don't want to sit around that long. But it's 2 minutes flash prior to applying the UV torch. So you can just see I'm just chilling out here. But what that will do is it allows, I'm not going to say moisture, but basically what happens is if you cure it without giving it the 2 minutes, it's going to be really tacky and kind of sticky on the top. And you're just not letting it sort of any solvents or whatever evaporate from inside it. I wish I was more technical, but I'm not. I'm one of you guys. So those 2 minutes are crucial for it to not be tacky and sort of gummy when you start it. But again, one coat, a grip coat, and then a full wet coat, and then 3 minutes cure. So I'm just leaving it there for the bulk of the time, and then I'm just going to move it up slightly higher. You see here the Pro-Cure torch. It's 10 watt UV, and 10 watts not that powerful. These big torches you see, the Scan Grips, the Teslas, they're 100 watts, so they're 10 times more powerful, but they start at around £1,000. So ours starts at 174 pounds, and you see here it's dry, ready to rock and roll. And this is the thing that's been bugging me and kind of why I started PainTeX. Although 100% these big £1,000 100 watt torches are going to cure this probably in a minute. But if the TDS says it's 3 minutes, do 3 minutes. If you get it wrong, you see I'm just giving it a little panel wipe here. You do get like a weird kind of stickiness to it, but it's not. You see here, it sands perfectly. There's no, it's not balling up or anything like that, which it will if you don't give it the 2 minutes. But what was I saying? Yeah, just these expensive torches, it's the wavelength that cures it, and the power is the speed. So don't get me wrong, you want the most powerful torch you can buy. But I've heard a lot of people say in the videos, other YouTubers, I don't really want to call them out, but you've all watched them. And they all sort of complain about the price. Now, I know a lot of guys get some stuff for free and they get to test stuff, or don't get me wrong, they probably put their hand in their pocket as well to buy them, which if you've got that spare kind of money, then fire away. I don't, so I say I don't. I've started a whole business, so I probably could have just used that money to buy a torch instead of buying hundreds of torches to sell to you guys, which is counterintuitive anyway. But basically, an everyday torch for a painter to keep in his toolbox, £2,000 for one of these big Tesla cures, or even sort of £1,000 plus VAT, whatever these big Scan Grip ones are, and the can't remember what it's called. Basically the Vilbis one. They're quite a lot of money, and if you're only like a smart repair guy and you're doing small repairs like this, what I've just showed you is more than enough. I'm not really doing any cuts in the video here. I let it cure for the 3 minutes. Of course, I've sped it up, and I could always upload the full-length video of me sitting around for 3 minutes, but I don't think that's fun to watch. And you see here, I've got a 320 grit on there, and I'm just sanding it down nice in the booth. So in total, getting this car in and throwing a couple of sheets of paper around it and giving it a quick primer, 3 minutes, I'm already sanding ready for paint. It's very, very quick. And again, I do feel like people might think that this isn't going to cut it, and this is just a video to kind of show it does. I wouldn't want to do it on a massive job, like a big filler repair or whatever, that you're going to start to want your high builds and stuff like that, or one of those big fancy guns. But The thing for me is I'm an everyday painter and I want access to a bit of UV here and there to do a small repair. Then this is perfect. If you, I think you're mad if you're out on a smart repair van and you're taking on these big smashed up jobs where you've got to put a load of filler in, and total respect to the guys that do it, but when I done smart repair, I wouldn't touch jobs much bigger than this. It's hard to do outside, and again, total respect to the guys that do it. But and again, if you're in a body shop and you're getting a big chunk of filler, you've probably got your high build to put on there. So this is just small jobs, nice and quick, nothing too crazy. I've got another sort of video, basically the same thing, but on a slightly bigger repair, and I'm going to put 2 coats on that just to show you sort of what not to do. But I know somebody's going to do it, so I'll give it a try myself. And basically, because I'm doubling the mil thickness of what I'm putting on, it needs slightly longer. But it is basically cured. Again, we'll get into that in a sec. You'll see here I'm just tidying up the last little bit of this primer with a 500. And then, again, in all fairness, I'll be quite clear. Not hiding anything from you. This car's going to go out to a prepper now, and they're going to prep it. But I'm just doing it in the paint before demonstration purposes. So that one was all done, sent out. And you see a slightly larger repair. Basically the same thing. Same door as well, which is odd. Different colour. And I'm going to do the same here. Your nice little sort of grip coat. Leave it for 30 seconds. Make sure your tape's stuck down as well, guys. That's helpful. 30 seconds until it goes matte. And we're not going to use the torch. I've seen guys use the torch to do it in between coats, and I don't really know how much difference that would make. I feel like it's a bit like letting your primer cure and then putting another sort of coat on in between it curing, if that makes sense. With your high build, I don't think it would be that nice. And to be fair, our torch does have a flash mode, and I have tried it, and it's not giving me any issue, but I'm not going to recommend you use it. So there is a flash option on the torch. The company that manufactures them for me, they give me a list of what they could do, and I just said, yeah, do it, whatever. It doesn't make any difference. If you want the option, it's there. If not, and you'll see the second coat there, sort of 30 seconds, and then I've put another wet coat on, and I'm going to leave that until that goes matte as well. And I'm just going to leave enough time in between. Like I say, I'm not technical enough. I don't know enough about it, to be honest. The UV primer, but we're letting it flash off properly. So I don't know if it is a solvent that evaporates out of it. I'm not sure. But by giving it that chance to breathe, that again, it's going to stop it from gumming up and being all tacky. I know, again, it's probably that feeling when you've had access to these bigger torches and stuff. You feel like you can just chuck it on and do it because it's quick. And again, because your torch is mega powerful, like 10 times more powerful than mine, you can get away with it. And the whole idea of UV is it's fast, to do it quickly. Here we go, just bash it on. I mean, I've seen guys put like 3 coats on and stuff like that. And again, ours is a sort of a grip coat and a 1-coat system out of the gun. Through the aerosols, it's a grip coat and 2 wet. Again, but with your flash off in between, you've got to make sure that you're giving this a chance to breathe. And if you're not sure, always refer to the TDS. Every brand that you use will have a TDS on their website. Again, ours is on our website, paintex.shop, under the sort of download section. And you'll see here, I'm used to this for my lacquer. I like to give it 5 minutes in between. But I've got these presets on my watch. So give it 2 minutes. Let it sit. Check my phone, Facebook, all that good stuff. Just let it do its thing. Honestly, it's not worth rushing. And now I'm going to put the torch on it. It's had its 2 minutes to breathe. Full power. And you see on the bottom of this is a magnet as well. I didn't have a panel stand or anything to stick it to. I did think about the wall, but again, this is going to be a thing where the power does make a difference. Is the distance that you've got it further away. So the power is going to allow that wavelength to travel a bit further. So if I just stuck that on the wall, like, the wavelength would probably get there, but it's not going to do anything. It's not close enough to activate the photo initiators in the UV primer. So just keeping it at a decent sort of distance. Whereas with your big powerful one, you probably could be a bit further away and it will still do the job. You see that? And I've given it the 3 minutes, the same as the first one. And I could kind of see, always checking the tape, it's dry, but it's still got that kind of wet, that tackiness that I was on about. And I feel like it's just undercured. And you'll see this area is probably twice the size of the last one. So I've stuck it on for another 2, but I actually think I only give it 1 more minute. And UV is quite weird. You can kind of see it dry. So I'm just giving it an extra minute here before I start sanding it. I'll do the same thing. I will give it a quick wipe with the solvent degreaser. That does help take some of that residue off. And then I just get into sanding it again. I break out 320 on a block and then sort of 500 it and then send it to somebody else to prep, which is mad. But this is one of the things. I just had a chat with Wayne from Damage Undone. I really do want to start putting a lot of content out, but because I don't work for myself, it's hard for me. I can't just walk around with a camera and a tripod and a light and do what I want. I filmed these on the days in between Christmas and New Year because I knew the primer guy wasn't at work, so took the opportunity to bring my own primer in and do it that way. But all these jobs were painted in between Christmas and New Year as well. They come out spot on, no issues. You'll notice I didn't put any etch on. You don't require it with our primer because it's got some anti-corrosive properties in there. So you see it's probably about a minute and a half. Yeah, a minute and a half extra I've give it. So that's had 4.5 minutes. Like I say, just because it's a larger area, it's not getting the same sort of intensity throughout the cure time. So that just keep that in mind. Again, if you're going to be doing small jobs, this torch will be fine. If you're going to be taking on massive jobs and you can afford it, then go and get a big one. I'm not saying that ours is any better than a big one. I did put out a picture of it next to the Scan Grip. Their big model, that they're about £1,000 plus VAT. That image, and I did write on the image that it's a comparison for the area, the size that it cures. It does have quite a wide angle on the lens, but again, it's the power that's going to increase the speed. And it's just one of those things that I was kind of saying before. If you're using Sikkens and Sikkens requires 3 minutes to cure, you cure it in 1 minute with your big Scan Grip torch. You have any failure with that paint and you have to phone Sikkens in and say, look, it's gone wrong, what's happened? They're going to say, how long did you cure it for? And they'll go, 1 minute because I used my big fancy powerful torch. They're going to laugh you out of the room and say, well, TDS says it requires 3. You've had a failure. It's nothing to do with us because you've not followed the TDS. Whereas with mine, you use the TDS and it takes 3 minutes. It takes 3 minutes. And you can see here, this is quite a big repair. I've given it 4.5 and it's sanding down just fine. Again, 320 of that I've got on there. Sanded it along, no issues. We painted it, we baked it, there's no issue. There's no delamination, there's no issues at all. So that's kind of the point of this little video here, is just to kind of show you it in real life circumstances. I'm not trying to sell anybody, like, if you can afford a big fancy gun, go ahead and buy a big fancy gun. I'm never going to tell you this thing's better. But if you want a UV torch to keep in your toolbox that's affordable and does the job, then this is kind of what I'm showing off in this video. Again, kind of what I was going back to earlier. You've seen even some of the YouTubers that have got these big guns, they're saying that if they were to buy it, they couldn't justify it, that kind of money. So If you're a painter like me and you've got some UV putty, or you use our rapid cure from PainTeX, I love keeping a tube of that handy, because you missed pinholes or stone chips or something, you can just dot it in right before paint, and because it's clear coat that you're putting in there, you sand the top off of it and off you go. There's no issue. So for me, it's nice to have around, again, partly because I own the company. I've just took a kit to demo to everyone, but I do use it in my day-to-day life. And then the feedback we got from the original kit was, can we have a bigger, more powerful torch? And then that's where this one's come in. But I am trying to find a way to maybe give you guys a big, powerful torch, but it almost defeats the point of PainTeX if by the time I've made one of these torches, it's going to be £1,000, a big, the big, powerful ones. And for me, I almost can't justify it myself for the money. It's so much money for something that the only difference is the time, really. So I'd rather give up that extra, even another 3 minutes. If I cured it for twice as long with this torch, it would still be cured, and it's only cost me 6 minutes, but it saved me, I don't know, 10 times the money as well. So we'll get this video out of the way, and I appreciate you guys watching. And I'll leave the links in the description. See you later.